Hello and welcome back. This is a grant writing training brought to you by GrantsDatabase. This is modified telling your story with data and evidence. And in lesson 3, storytelling means statistics. Now, let me tell you about Grace. Grace is 12 years old, and every morning, instead of going to school, she spent 4 hours working to fetch water for her family. She dreams of becoming a teacher, but those dreams are slipping away. Now, here is the bigger picture. 771 million people worldwide lack access to clean water, according to UNICEF. See what I just did there? I started with a story, something that touches your heart. Then I added a statistic, something that anchors the story in fact. That combination is one of the most powerful tools in grant writing. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Now let's look at reasons why stories alone are not enough. Now stories are powerful because they connect emotionally. Funders remember Grace, Amina, or John. But here is the catch. Stories without statistics feel isolated. A funder might think, okay, but is Grace just one case or is this a widespread issue? And also, that is why stories alone are not enough. Now let's look at why statistics alone are also not enough. On the flip side, statistics without stories feel cold and distant. For example, 600 million Africans lack electricity. That is a shocking number, but without a face, it's hard to truly care about it. Now, data activates the mind, stories activate the heart, and you need the two of them, you need both. Now, the magic in the blend is this: the most powerful and successful proposals combine both elements. And the simple formula you can use is story plus statistics plus solution. Story plus statistics plus solution will give you a very strong case. Now let's look at some real world examples. The charity of water that we've been talking about earlier. Now, they often introduce a person like Elena, a 9-year-old in Ethiopia, who works 3 hours daily for water. Then they add the statistics: 771 million people globally face the same struggle. Then they present the solution. A $30 donation provides clean water for one person. That is the solution. Now, another example here is the Girls Not Bride. This is a global NGO. Now, they share stories of child brides, then back it up with every year, 12 million girls are married before the age of 18. That statistics alone shows it's a systemic issue, not just an isolated strategy. And another example here is the 1 Acre Fund. 1 Acre Fund tells stories of farmers increasing yields, but they also add, on average, farmers will serve increase their farm profit by 40% per year on average. Now, do you see the pattern? It's personal, it's global, it's personal plus global, or it's human plus numeric. That is the pattern. So let's look at some practical ways to blend stories and statistics. Number one is to start the story, support with the statistics. Start with the story and support with the statistics. Example is Mary, a farmer in Ogun State, loses half her tomatoes to spoilage. And she is not alone. The FAO estimate that 40% of food in Nigeria is lost post-harvest. That is, start with a story and support with statistics. Another approach or practical way is to start with a statistic, then personalize with a story. So here we have example. Nigeria has 20 million out of school children, the highest in the world. Among them is 13-year-old Ibrahim, who now works in a mechanic shop instead of being in school. That is another approach. Now, the third way or practical way to blend story with statistics is end with the solution. Now, always tie back to how your project can change the story. Always tie whatever means you are using, either you are starting with a story or you are starting with a statistic, tie it back to how your project can solve or can change the story. It is very, very important. Let's look at some common pitfalls, some common mistakes. Number one is over dramatizing the story. Now, don't exaggerate or manipulate. Funders can spot it. They can research. They can, in fact, you might be submitting a proposal to UNICEF by something that they themselves have conducted. They know what is there on the field. So don't over dramatize it. Don't exaggerate or manipulate. So another one is throwing random statistics. We've been talking about this quite some time now. Make sure the data connects directly to the story and to your project. Yes. So thirdly, forgetting the solution. Stories and statistics should always point to why your idea matters. Yes, it should always point to that. Now, in activities for this lesson, here is your activity for this lesson. Now, take one problem your project addresses. Take one of it, and then, oops, okay, take one of the problem your project addresses. Then write a short human story, real or imagined based on your community, and then find one statistic that supports the story. Then combine them into a 3 to 4 sentence paragraph. Yes, that is the activity for the lesson. For example, see an example here. Amina, 15, wants to be a doctor but dropped out of school when her family could not afford fees. She's part of a larger crisis. UNESCO reports that 60% of out-of-school children in northern Nigeria are girls. Our project provides cheap Our project provides scholarships and mentoring to give girls like Amina a second chance. Now, this is a very clear and very straightforward problem and solution statement. This statement here writes or tells funders about the problem. It tells funders about the scale of that problem by statistics, and it also tells the funder about the solution you are providing. This is a pitch. Now you are giving your solution. You are talking about your problem you are solving. You are painting a picture. You are making it very visible, and also you are also talking about your solution. Amina 15. She wants to be a doctor, but drop out when her family could not afford her fees at just 15 years. Now, Amina is not alone. She's part of a larger crisis in the world, globally, in Nigeria, in Africa. So, because UNESCO has reported that 60% out of school children in northern Nigeria, they are girls. More than 50%, 60% are girls. Now, the project we are working on provides scholarships and mentoring to give girls like Amina a second chance to for her to be able to get to her dream. Now, this is a fundable idea. This is a fundable project. So, in closing, here's the takeaway. Statistics prove the problem exists, and stories prove it matters. Together, they inspire action. When you master this balance, your proposals will stand out, not as just another pile of data and not as just another emotional appeal, but as a compelling case funders cannot ignore. I'm Oluwole Omojofodun, and in the next lesson, which is this is the end of the lesson. We're going to practice together by rewriting vague writing into powerful evidence-backed proposals. Right. So this is the last lesson in module 5. And see you in module 6 and in the outro. Thank you.